welcome back to what we are going to, for the foreseeable future, call this our nameless video game podcast.
I can roll with it.
It's not the official name, but, we'll see how it goes. But with me, of course, as always, we have Broken Thief Zidane.
What's up?
So today is a very, very special episode for us. So I'm personally extremely excited about this episode. We are going to be talking about E3 and our predictions for E3. So we're going to go through layout. Yeah. So we're going to lay out the schedule, and then we're going to go through each individual showcase and talk about what we think is going to be there and what isn't going to be there. So with that being said, before we get started into it, Daniel, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, just that I'm really excited to talk about these up and coming games and all the excitement that's going to go into waiting for them.
Cool. All right, so we are less than a month away from E3. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the schedule. So let me bring my notepad over here because I do have some notes for this. So to kick off E3, their pre-kickoff, I guess I should say, is going to be June 8th at... Oh, no, June 8th and 9th it's not even they don't have a set time. They have different events that are going to be going on. But it's EA. They're doing their EA Play event. So they're going to be showing different trailers and kind of showing things throughout the day rather than just doing a press conference like all the others are going to be showing.
That's their separate conference away from E3, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be at the same venue as everything else. So this is tradition for them at this point in time to run it this way.
Yep.
After that is Microsoft, June 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern. So local time for that will be 1 p.m. But, also, before I get too far into this, I am going to be doing a live stream of E3, reacting and being able to kind of show it off as it's going on. So if anybody wants to jump in and join me on that, you're more than welcome to join in chat and watch along with me.
I will definitely be trying to jump in and take part in some of those festivities. I know the Square Enix one I'm definitely going to attempt to be a part of. So,
all right, so Microsoft June 9th, 4 p.m. Bethesda is June 9th as well. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Local time, 5:30. Who cares about Pacific Coast? I'm just kidding. All this is going on in California. It's in LA. Next up, we have Ubisoft, June 10th at 4 p.m.
Yeah, buddy.
The one that Daniel's probably most excited about is going to be Square Enix on June 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then to wrap up the showcases and the conferences is going to be on the official start, because E3 actually runs officially from June 11th to the 13th. All these other shows are all pre-E3 events. But the one that'll kick off the show will be Nintendo, June 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern. I am extremely excited about that one, and as we go through the predictions, you will find out why.
Yep.
So, with that being said, we're gonna do these in order as far as the days that they're gonna be happening. So let's start off with E3.
With EA.
Yeah, EA. Sorry.
Yeah.
E3, EA.
There's a lot of E's going around, dude. It's
okay. So I'm gonna let you kick off the first prediction.
Hang on. Let me grab my trusty notes over here, because I wrote quite a bit down.
So I have a few predictions, and then I have some questions of where do we think we're gonna see this, or do we think we're gonna hear anything about this particular item? So we're gonna. I have my, EA for me, I don't think has anything that's going to come out of left field. Well, personally,
yes and no. Obviously we have just to kind of kick it off. We have all of the sport games that are coming out. Everybody expects
NFL, NHL, NBA,
FIFA, all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not. We don't even really need to waste the time on, because it's coming.
Yeah.
They're going to show off all of it. They're great.
They show them off every year.
Yeah. So, but I think, obviously they'll probably cover some Battlefield 5 stuff. extra content, maybe some stuff like that. But I think what I expect to see and what's been rumored, I guess, and people are throwing around the rumor mill, is the Bad Company 3.
That would be interesting. That actually would be surprising to me. And before we go, I know we're not really going to be covering news too much, but I wanted to ask you a quick question. Did you see that they took away the 2-player co-op or the 2-player mode in their Firestorm Battle Royale mode?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So
I have unfortunately I have not even tried the Battle Royale for Battlefield, and I hate to admit that because I like Battlefield, but I have not had the time to give that a shot.
Yeah. So Bad Company would be a really cool return to that series. We haven't had that game in a long time, so I would actually be interested in seeing that personally. Yeah. And I'm not a Battlefield person by no stretch of the imagination.
No, but the Bad Company games they're pretty entertaining, so I could get behind that.
All right. Well.
What do you got?
I'm gonna steal the next one, and I'm gonna steal the big one. At least in my opinion, is the big one.
Oh, of course.
It's not a surprise. I think at this point in time we need to see this, but I think so. Star Wars Fallen Order. We will get a gameplay reveal because we've only had the cinematic trailer so far. So we're gonna actually get a gameplay reveal, and I honestly think that we're gonna get a date because that game is expected to come out this year. So
I could expect a date, definitely. So, what are you thinking date wise though? What's your prediction?
I'm gonna go with. I think they need to avoid September because September has a lot of big things, but at the same, this is where it gets sketchy, man. So, it's hard. It's hard to say because, September might be the best month because you want to stay away from your Call of Duties, and I get it that they're shooters, but you want to stay away from the Call of Duties and Battlefield and things like that. And I hope that they don't do November. I really, really hope that they don't do November. I think September might be the safest bet.
I don't like November, December release dates. I just don't feel like it's good for a game, honestly.
Well, it's just there's so much that comes out, and we're going to talk about that. You know,
I think a game like that, you're dropping a new Star Wars. You are attempting to semi-redeem yourself from Battlefront.
Yeah, the biggest problem I see with a September date is, Borderlands is coming out in September. So
right, and there are games you want to avoid. Definitely dropping around, Borderlands being one of them. But I would think the October-ish time frame might work for them, but it's EA, man. I mean, they're, as much as people hate on them, they are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, developer and everything. So they're gonna drop the game whenever the hell they want to drop it.
Yeah,
so
no, I just don't. I really want to see them make a smart decision with it. With the date, hopefully they look around what's all there and can come up with a solid date that would make sense. Next thing that you think?
So this is kind of where I ran out on EA. Because I have predictions for other things, but I didn't get as much.
I still have
EA.
2 more. I have 3 more because one is a prediction that I think is actually kind of confirmed.
And I know what you're gonna say, but as
Apex
far as
Legends,
one of them go,
yeah, Apex Legends. They're supposed to talk about season 2,
right,
at their event that weekend. So that's a given. I have played a very small amount of Apex. I know my brother is probably super excited to see what they're going to do for the next season.
Apex is a fun game. It's just you got to get good. You got to do it quick.
Yeah,
but I know the other one you're talking about. However, I don't know, when I was writing my notes, for whatever reason I didn't transfer over what we had talked about previously.
So my 2 questions that I have for EA. One is, do we see anything from Anthem? With all the negative things that have been going on with Anthem, with everything that's been going on with that game, I don't know. Yeah,
that's one of those things, I just don't. I don't know if you really address that, if you talk about content coming out with all the negativity that's surrounding that game, or if you just
I think that
let it lie.
They need to do a No Man's Sky. They need to go dark
Yep.
and just quietly work on the game, and then when they're ready, when they actually have all these fixes, whenever they're ready for all the content, then they can talk about it again. I think Anthem needs to go dark for a while.
I would fully agree with that, and I think showing it at E3 is not really a good choice.
Right.
Because just the negativity, man, it'll eat that game alive. No matter, they could show a completely revamped game, and people are gonna be like, "This is garbage." So
yeah,
I don't know.
So my other question is, and this is the one that I think you're going to be more interested in, is do we see anything from Dragon Age?
Yes. And that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for you to kind of ask that one, because I think with the teaser they gave and everything, you have to show it. At this point, you got to give some kind of trailer to it. You got to give, even if it's, a cinematic trailer at this point, give us something.
Right.
Because I could definitely use some more Dragon Age in my life.
Yeah, I would like to see what they're going to do for the next Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for EA? Because that's all I really have for them.
That's pretty much what I got, man. And to be honest, I know as when Nintendo gets here, you're super excited about the Nintendo ones, and I was gonna let you kind of run with those.
Yeah. so the only thing that I will say that I hope that EA doesn't do is what they did last year with like that Command and Conquer mobile game. Don't take up a lot of time. Like I was watching the stream and I was having fun. I was enjoying myself, even though a lot of the sports stuff. And then that segment came up, and I was like, "Well, I guess I have to run a few errands. I'll go ahead and end it here."
Yep.
So,
I mean, that's pretty much where I was too. It was like, maybe I'll actually get some work done now.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Yeah. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to Microsoft.
All right, I got quite a few for Microsoft, actually.
I'm glad you do, but I'm going to start it off with asking the question first.
Okay.
And I think it's most likely going to happen. That's why I want to ask it. I want to get this part out of the way. Do we see next generation hardware for Xbox at E3 this year?
Yes, and yes.
I completely agree too. I think that they want to try and show off the hardware before Sony gets an opportunity to, and they really want to try and steal the show since Sony isn't going to be there this year.
Right. And from what I was reading, they have like 2 consoles that they have in development coming out for 2020. And I feel like we're going to see both. Code names, Anaconda and Lockhart. I think if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at the code names.
It's something like one's a 1080p and one's a 4K system, but they're both 60 frames per second. From what I was, that's the gist of what I recall from reading about it earlier. But yeah, I fully think they have to showcase the systems. They got to show next gen hardware.
I'm not a fan of having 2 consoles though. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's a expensive and a cheaper version. That's all it is.
I know.
You have your $500 price point, like what we assume the PS5's coming in at, and then I think the other one they were talking about like a $250 or $299. So, and granted,
it seems pointless to me.
I know, but
that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
I mean, we'll see. I guess.
Yeah. So go ahead. Because I have quite a few added on that.
That's fine. Let me just throw out the ones that I know.
Yeah.
That we both know that are for sure going to be there.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite.
Definitely.
So we have to see more from that game. Gears 5.
Gears 5. Yep.
And a new Forza game.
Right. Well, the Forza's a given.
Yeah. So those are all the big givens that I think that we're going to see. So
Gears 5 is definitely one in the making that I've played through the Gears games and everything back when I had an Xbox.
I played some Gears. I'm not a Microsoft guy, and there's just maybe if those games when they come out they're able to be they're most of Microsoft titles they try to make cross-platform.
Right.
So I wouldn't mind playing Gears 5 on the PC. I think that'd be fun.
Well, let me since you bring that up, do you see cross-platform happening here at E3? Do you see them showcasing like the Nintendo Microsoft relationship?
I want to get more into that when we talk about Nintendo.
Yeah,
because I think
you don't think it'll be more Xbox trying to put stuff on Nintendo, or do you think it'll be more Nintendo collaborating and giving Xbox some of their games, or do you think it'll be a joint thing?
Well, Nintendo is not giving Microsoft anything. They're not giving them anything.
Nobody is giving Microsoft anything.
No, it's not even just that. Nintendo's definitely not giving any of their titles. Yeah. They'll tell Microsoft to shove off. But the reason I wanted to hold off on that conversation for Nintendo is because I think that's more of a Nintendo announcement, and that wouldn't be talked about here. So
I could see that. I could also just briefly see like Xbox showcasing something and flashing, like the Microsoft and the Nintendo thing.
See, I have a hard time with the fact that if they're doing something big like I think they're doing, I think Nintendo wants to be the one to reveal that because it's going to be on their platform more so than it's going to be on Microsoft's platform. So I think Nintendo wants to talk about that more than letting Microsoft talk about it. Nintendo's a little finicky, I think, with how they get their message out there. They want to control their message. They don't want Microsoft telling their message. So
right, and I can see that. So my next one. Do you have any more? I couldn't.
The only thing I have is that I said I was gonna. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and I was going to try and look up some of these first party titles that are first party companies that Microsoft purchased, and I didn't.
Right.
But I'm thinking that we're gonna see something from last year's E3. Microsoft announced I think 4 or 5 acquisitions of developing studios. I think we see a payoff from that this year.
Yeah, I definitely think you see some of the games that are being developed now, and some of the bigger titles that they're going to be working on, at least the new IPs or first parties.
Yeah.
So I one question for you, and I think it's definitely possible. What do you think the chances of seeing Cyberpunk at the Microsoft stage are?
I think that it's a possibility. However, I think that they should probably go dark on that game. Because that game's not coming out for at least another year, if not 2.
I feel like it's one of those games that...
I thought I heard something about it not coming out until 2021.
Right. Which sounds about right.
And the fact that they showed it off last year means that they probably shouldn't show it off this year. I think you need to give yourself some space and not oversaturate and overshow it. Don't get me wrong, they probably will, but
what stage was it shown on last year? Because I can't remember. Was it Sony? Was that? Wasn't it shown on Sony's stage last year?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember too. It's been a while, like a year.
Yeah, it's a possibility that it was on Sony's stage, but so Microsoft definitely could have reached out to bridge that gap since Sony's not there.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was thinking. They might be grasping at things to show here since Sony's not in the game.
Right.
One I think will definitely be there. Battletoads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Battletoads.
I mean, they own Rare, so that would be really cool to see. I would actually really like to see that. Yeah,
I would too. I'd love to see what they're doing with that game. Brings back a lot of memories from my childhood when I was a wee lad. I think we see Borderlands 3 again on a Microsoft stage. I think it happens.
I can see that, but at the same time, like I'm one of the people that is don't show off too much. There's no reason for it. Borderlands has been doing all of these standalone events to show off their game. So why does it need to be at E3?
Right, but I think it's Microsoft is going to come hard, and I think they're going to bring a lot of stuff like Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Yeah,
like they'll bring some more with that.
Yeah, it's about time they show off that some more. I just hope that they don't do like the big like lump sum of all these indie games,
and they might.
Well, here's the
they
thing.
might do it as a like here's like 10 games coming in the next year or something.
Well, here's the other thing. So one of the things I left off the schedule is June 10th, 7:30 Eastern is the Kind of Funny Games Showcase. So Kind of Funny, for the people that don't know, is another podcasting company. Some guys that used to work at IGN about 3 or 4 years ago, and they are doing a showcase event. And this showcase event is heavily tailored towards the indies. They, as of today, as of when we're recording this, May 13th, they currently have 63 games that they're going to be showing off on the showcase.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah,
and so that, honestly, I think takes pressure off of these bigger companies to where they don't have to show off these things.
Right. And I would agree with you there, but I think Microsoft shows some of the more popular ones.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not like a sizzle reel where they just kind of like fly through it like they normally do.
Right. And I would agree with you there. I think another one we definitely see that is not an indie game, Outer Worlds. I think it's coming. I think Microsoft shows it off, especially since, PlayStation's not around.
Yeah.
Which is also a game I'm kind of looking forward to, and I'd like to see more on. I do have one that was a confirmed leak from what I was reading.
All right.
It's from Bleeding Edge, and it's essentially a interplanetary multiplayer game, kind of like Warframe.
Doesn't sound like my speed, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's one thing I was reading about there. I'm not sure if we see anything on that or not. My other question is, and this could be brought up in a couple shows from now as well. But do you think we see a Splinter Cell?
If it wasn't for the fact that, because Splinter Cell is a Ubisoft game, right?
Yes.
So if it wasn't for the fact that Ubisoft just announced their new Ghost Recon game, I might have said yes.
I feel like they might bring both.
I mean, cool. I mean that in a really positive way. I don't mean that in a down way. I just I don't think it's I don't think it's gonna happen.
Puppy dog spotted.
I got the door closed, so we're not gonna have cats this time.
Nope. She decided to come downstairs and say hi. No, I think what would be cool is if they are working on a Splinter Cell, if they do have one in the works. I think Microsoft taking the opportunity to just briefly show the 3 green dots for the night vision.
I mean, if they did a small teaser, I think I'd be more on board with that. I don't know. I just, that might be more likely than getting a full blown trailer.
Hang on a second. You cannot be under my desk. Go. Come on, doggy. Go lay down.
If we were better at editing, we would pop up a little like screen over the top, being like technical issues. And have the dog.
No. I'm not even gonna worry about it. She wanted to come down and get some loving, so she's gonna lay on the couch now. No, I think the last one I had that was a little different was the potential. We talked about Halo Infinite. Did we talk about Halo Reach? I can't remember.
No, I wouldn't be surprised by that. They've been working on trying to get all of their Halo games updated and getting them out there. So I would not be surprised by that. And I think that's actually a pretty strong possibility that would happen.
Yeah, so I think there's a few I'm hoping to see. Mainly because I don't know when I'm going to get to see them for PlayStation, so I want to see them now.
Sure.
But, I actually don't have a lot against Xbox. I used to own Xbox.
I don't have anything against them either. I had one myself, so.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the PlayStation and PC.
And I don't have an Xbox. I owned an Xbox One for maybe 2 months.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think the next on the list, unless you have anything else.
No, I don't have anything on that. So right. Next would be
Bethesda, yeah. Which I don't think is coming too hard.
So
honestly,
the things that I see are for sure's is Doom Eternal, because that game comes out in November, I believe.
Right.
It comes out later in the year, but it's coming out this year.
Yep.
So Doom Eternal is definitely going to be showed off. There's a new Wolfenstein that they're working on that I think that they're going to show off some more content on that.
Okay. I think the Wolfenstein is a pretty safe bet.
And then I have a bunch of... I'm going to say one more, and but I also have a bunch of question marks sitting on my paper right now. So the next one would be Starfield, I think is a guaranteed.
So with that, and possibly answering one of your questions, as I was reading around today, I found a thing that pretty much said it's been confirmed that Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield will not be shown this year at Bethesda Showcase.
Okay.
So I that kind of sucks because I was really hoping to see some Starfield stuff, and I hope that's not right. However,
well, I will say this, and so one of my question marks. So this is going to tie into to each other. So one of my question marks is Fallout 76. So are we going to see anything on that about them fixing that game?
I think you definitely see some Fallout 76 content, some of the stuff they're adding, some of the fixes they're making.
So here's my thing that I wanted to say about it though is that Bethesda for years has had a very broken game engine.
Right.
Their games always release very patchy, so I'm wondering if the fact that they're not showing Starfield and definitely not showing Elder Scrolls 6 is due to them trying to work on a way to refining and fixing these issues that they've been having.
Or announcing a new engine?
This isn't the place to do that.
I know. But
that would be a GDC type thing.
I feel like it's something they have to do with the way their games have been coming out. Granted, everybody loves the glitches and stuff in the Elder Scrolls games. They're kind of part of the game, but not game-breaking glitches.
Yeah. But with that being said, with Starfield not being there and Elder Scrolls not being there, I mean, my other questions were, do we see a new Evil Within?
I think that's a definite possibility.
And then do we see anything from the Dishonored series?
And I think that could be in the works. I think maybe they announced something they're working on as far as Dishonored goes, maybe dropping next year or something. But
and then, I mean, outside of that, do you have anything else?
Not really. I mean, I was hoping maybe Prey, but I don't know about Prey.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I was putting a lot of my baskets into Starfield, getting to see Starfield.
Right.
And reading that it's been confirmed that they're not going to be there, kind of
Right.
But it also makes me wonder, like, sales. Yeah, it's like, well, why are you even, unless you have something big to show, why are you taking slots at E3?
I just think that they've been doing it for so many years now that they're just willing to just keep it rather than give it up. Right.
Well, I mean, I get that, but it's like, but give me something, you know?
Yeah.
Like I want to see something here, and I don't want to see Blades again.
Right. And that game's garbage.
No, I've tried it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I got to try it too. So with that being said, Ubisoft.
I got a few for Ubisoft. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and I'll let you kick off Ubisoft.
Okay. So one of the things I had on Ubisoft was the Splinter Cell.
Okay.
I thought if a Splinter Cell is in production and Microsoft shows a teaser, they would then show a actual trailer.
And they're notorious for previous years where one of their games will get shown off in a different press conference, like Microsoft or Sony's, and then they'll show off their own trailer for it as well.
Right.
They did that with the Division 2. They've done it with a couple other games. So I would not put it past them to do that.
Right. I know you got a couple that you were going to list. One, and I got one that I'll save for your question. The other one being Actually, why don't you just go ahead? Because a lot of mine are regards to your question.
So, well, I'm not even going to... Do you want me to do the question that I have?
Go for it.
So the question I have is AC, Assassin's Creed. So I don't think we're going to see anything from Assassin's Creed. If we do, it'll be downloadable content.
Because
it will not be a new Assassin's Creed.
They have announced a new Assassin's Creed.
When?
They have announced that they are working on one in the Viking era.
Okay, yeah, but they've announced that they're working on it. But the thing is they have already come out and said a new Assassin's Creed will not be releasing this year. Okay. And they're notorious for having a November release, and they won't. And then I don't see them showing off an Assassin's Creed game.
I think that they could show off an Assassin's Creed game as a new generation drop.
See, yeah, but that's not. But
this then year. Again,
that's not this year,
and it's not. And what? Oh,
they're not
the puppy dog's leaving.
they're not a company like Square Enix that announces something I say that, but we have Beyond Good and Evil on our list and Skull and Bones.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. With Assassin's Creed, this is their bread and butter series. They have...
Right.
Especially over the last 2 generations of Assassin's Creed. They have been treating this series really well. I don't see them putting Assassin's Creed out there like this.
Right.
Like that.
But for me, it's just like as a company who dropped an Assassin's Creed every year for a while and then turned around and started over with Origins and then came out with Odyssey. I feel like if you're working on one that's set in the Viking era, based around the whole Ragnarok or called Ragnarok, whatever the case is, and that's something that you're working on, even if it's not dropping this year and it might be dropping in 20, you might show a teaser of it.
I mean, that's your thought, and I disagree. So that's the good thing about having 2 people on here is we have people that can disagree.
Yeah, you could very well be right. It could be a next year drop with a release date and everything, but we won't know until E3 rolls around.
Yeah.
I think we agree on all the other ones, though.
Yeah, so I kind of glossed over it, but so Skull and Bones will definitely be here, at E3 this year. If it's not, that game's in trouble.
I know that's a game you aren't really interested in.
I have 100,000% no interest in that game.
Because Colton hates sea combat.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, worst Assassin's Creed out there is Black Flag.
No.
Throwing it out there being...
No! What's wrong with you?
It's terrible.
Black Flag was the absolute best Assassin's Creed other than the new generation ones.
Yeah, Black Flag was terrible.
Black Flag was amazing. See, and this is why we don't agree on Assassin's Creed stuff.
Beyond Good and Evil.
Leave it in the comments. Let's take a vote. Which one was better? Assassin's Creed, any of the other ones, or Black Flag?
Oh, no. I'm not saying any of the other ones are not great either, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag was garbage. My favorite is
I will
Origins.
say, I know Origins is your favorite. Because
I was saying, I can go get my Origins shirt right now. I have an Origins shirt.
Colton loves the Egyptian gods. I like the Greek and the Norse religious.
I have an Anubis tattoo in the back of my leg.
Yeah, well,
anyway, so I think
we're getting off track.
Yeah. I'm trying to reel it back in. So I think we're actually going to finally get a release date for Beyond Good and Evil.
Do you?
That's my bold prediction for Ubisoft.
You think a date drops?
I think we get a date.
All we got last year was a cinematic trailer.
If not a date, we at least get a window, like a release year or release something. We're gonna get some mention of some kind of information about when that game's coming.
Well, this kind of goes hand in hand. But if you're given a date, you have to show gameplay, right?
Right. So that's the other thing. I think we're finally gonna see gameplay for that game,
which I am really looking forward to because the cinematic trailer, while it was amazing and I watched it probably 20 times, I want to see some gameplay.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot of vested interest in that, but we'll see. If the gameplay looks really good, I might have some interest in it. So the other things I'm going to kind of quickly run through. Dance Dance, probably see something from them. And then I think we're going to see more on Ghost Recon, the new Ghost Recon game that got announced.
That definitely has a trailer drop.
The biggest question mark, and this has been rumored for a little while, that there is, do we see a new Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
You said you just straight up yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the way that series is gone, and I know it's a popular series as far as it doesn't, I mean, it's not like outstanding, but I know it does have its crowd.
You can't see me, but I put my hand up to the camera and did that kind of symbol.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so that's kind of where my yeah.
We all jumped on the first one.
Yep.
Were severely disappointed with it, and then none of us wanted to touch the second one.
Correct. So, that was pretty much where it was, and I didn't really want to pick up the second one. I didn't even want to give it a shot. I think maybe we see another one because, like I said, it does have its crowd. There are people that like it.
And I wouldn't mind seeing that game succeed. So they did Chicago, I think, in one of them, and they did San Francisco in another. So if they show it off, maybe New York?
Maybe?
LA? I'm just trying to...
Let's go to Orlando. Why don't we hit up Miami?
I don't know, maybe Miami over Orlando, but Orlando, no.
Ocala?
Nobody even knows what that is. That's probably watching the show right now. Okay.
I guarantee everyone is gonna be like, "Where the fuck is Ocala?"
We both lived in a town called Ocala. Dave was actually born and raised in Ocala.
No, not born.
You weren't born there?
No, sir. Come on, man. I thought we were related.
I thought
supposed
so
to
too.
be brothers. What the fuck?
No.
Born in Tampa. Moved to Ocala.
Okay, yeah. That was my third guess.
It's all good, man. You didn't meet me till we were 12?
13 or 14?
Something like that.
Anyway,
between 12 and 14.
My second guess was going to be Gainesville.
What the Okay, you know what? Time out. Let's get back on track here. We can take this conversation later.
Do you have anything else for Ubisoft?
No. My big one was basically Division 2. Do you think we see more Division 2?
Oh, yeah. I think that they're probably going to show off some kind of raid content or in-game content or some plans that they have for it.
Some of the in-game stuff, some of the added content that we're going to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it.
So let's move on to your favorite.
Yay.
And I'll let you kick off this.
I thought maybe you would say Square Enix.
No, I was going to let you have it all.
I was sitting there waiting. I'm like, all right, he's going to say Square Enix, and I'm going to lead with my... but, no, okay. Yeah, so next will be Square Enix. And we already know we're getting Final Fantasy VII Remake.
All right. So on that, so I think we're also going to... No, I'm just kidding.
No, so... We definitely know we're getting Final Fantasy VII Remake. I cannot wait. I cannot say enough amazing things about that trailer that dropped. And I'm going to keep interrupting you because I don't want to stop talking about Final Fantasy.
I know. I have a question for Final Fantasy.
All right, go ahead.
What do you think we see exactly?
I think you see past the first hour. Because that's pretty much all they showed in that trailer they dropped the other day. They showed about the first hour of gameplay.
Do you think that they go into the details about what the gameplay mechanics are going to be like?
I think they have someone demonstrating it a little bit, showing what the kind of gameplay is.
Do they
how everything kind of works? I think they show the menu.
Okay.
I think they show materia and equipping. And I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I'm just...
No, you're fine.
And
I have two more questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think we get the confirmation of the fact that it's episodic?
Without a doubt.
And then do we get a date?
Yes. So with
Prediction on date.
them only showing the first hour or so of the game, but beautifully remade, I think that shows that they are putting a ton of detail into this game. I think, obviously they've already talked about how they're adding story content and everything else. So I think you see past that, you maybe see a few glimpses of outside of Midgar, because I feel like the first episode is definitely going to go outside of Midgar. And then I think you get a little bit of introduction to the gameplay, the menu, the materia, the equipping, and so on and so forth. And they show off a couple of additional characters. And then I think they end it with a date of end of 19, early 2020.
Okay. Yeah, I think they'll show off Tifa finally.
Yeah, it's my girl.
And then I would love to see Red 13.
I would love to see Red as well. We've already seen Barrett. The remake with Barrett's pretty amazing. Tifa's bae. So
yeah.
And I would definitely like to see Red in there. I think that's where you leave it though.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So I think the other thing that I think we're gonna see is recently at their Kingdom Hearts Symphony thing, they announced a Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC with extra story content, bosses, so on and so forth. Yes. I think we're actually going to get a trailer for that, and we're probably going to get a price point and potentially a release date for that.
I could definitely see that happening, especially with the success of Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's an amazing game, and I know you love that series probably more than I do, definitely more than I do. I love the series, but it's like your Final Fantasy 7.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah. But I could definitely see that happening. I also think, I know we were saying, definitely Avengers.
Yeah. I think it's about time that they show off the Avengers. Especially coming off the heels of how well the Avengers movie has done, to see the Avengers game that Square's been working on for who knows how long. Yeah. I think it's definitely about time. Yeah, so definitely. I don't really have much more than that. I do have a question.
I have a couple more if you before you drop your question. But
I know. I was gonna say the other one I think we're gonna see is they have a new digital not digital but a definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah,
they'll touch on that.
Echoes of the Elusive Age. I also think we see some more Life is Strange too.
Okay, yeah, I kind of forgot about the series. I don't play those. I played the first one a little bit. It's not my style of game. I'm not a walking simulator person.
Yeah, it's all narrative driven and everything.
All right. And you have another one?
No, go ahead. What do you got?
So my question is, do we see Final Fantasy 16 get announced?
That was really hard. So with the...
If anything, my stance on it is we get a logo.
I think maybe you get an Elder Scrolls 6 teaser. You know what I mean?
From like the way that they tease... Yeah, no, I get
so like they just do a quick showcase of something, they pan out, and they show the title. Because I feel like people need to know it's in the making. Especially after all of the debacle and things that happened with 15 and the episodes at the end that didn't get to come out and weren't made and so on and so. I feel like they have to redeem themselves.
They need to wash themselves of it.
I think Final Fantasy VII definitely holds the show, but I think showing that shows fans that they are moving forward as well. So I think you get a brief title. I don't think you see anything else if they do that.
All right. So, thoughts. Do you have anything else for Square before we move on to what I think is who's going to steal the show?
We already talked about Square.
No, I'm saying, do you have anything else for Square?
I know, but you said who's going to steal the show. We already covered Final Fantasy VII. I don't understand.
Oh, they're not stealing the show. Sorry.
Nah, man, go ahead. Move on. I know you want to talk about it. You're dying.
So, Nintendo is the final showcase. So I have dates and predictions for all this stuff. So I think their main focus is going to be Animal Crossing. They usually pick one tentpole title to be their showcase for their E3 Direct, and I think that's going to be Animal Crossing this year.
All right, so go ahead and drop the next one, and then I want to ask you a question.
I think I know where you want me to go. I wasn't going to go there next.
Well, go there next anyways.
Okay, so the way that they've normally done Pokemon in the past, so they have Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out. Pokemon is normally, they will maybe do a trailer during the Direct, but they usually save a lot of their big coverage on Pokemon for the Treehouse Live event that's after the actual Direct that they show.
Right. So, my question, I guess, is what has the bigger following?
It's not okay. So I understand Pokemon has a bigger following. However, people have been clamoring for an Animal Crossing for a really long time.
Correct.
And
I'm not putting Animal Crossing down at all. They have a huge fan base.
The thing is that traditionally Nintendo likes to show. I just stabbed myself with my pen.
Good job.
They like to show off Pokemon where they're actually showing the gameplay and they're showing all their extra stuff in their Treehouse event. It's something that they like to do. They might show a trailer of some content during the actual Direct. But
that was my question. I wasn't sure
think it's gonna be the focal point.
Do you show just a brief Pokemon thing and then throw at the end join us?
They'll definitely say join us at Treehouse Live. We have more to show and more to talk about with Pokemon. I think that's how that's going to play out.
Right. Okay. I'm definitely 100% behind Animal Crossing. I know a ton of people that love to play that game. I
have no interest.
I wouldn't even mind picking it up for the simple fact that my kids like to play stuff like that, especially my daughter. So she would probably be all over it.
Yeah, I'm not an Animal Crossing fan, so it's not for me.
But I am more up the alley myself of the Pokemon, and that's what I can't.
I'm definitely getting Pokemon Sword, to clarify. So.
Oh, you're not going with the Shield?
No, Sword.
Can we take a guess at what I would go with?
Sword.
Come on, that's a given.
Yeah, right. All right, so.
Anyways.
I think we're going to see Luigi's Mansion 3, and I think we're going to get a date, and the date is going to be in October.
Do they show gameplay?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do they have it... Out of these, what do you think is a playable demo? As you move forward, if it's none of the ones that you've listed so far,
I think the big playable demo is going to be Mario Maker 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, because... I think they're going to show off. I think they're going to show a little bit about that game because that game is coming out in June. So I think that they'll show off some of the extra content and then let people get their hands on it and mess with it at the show.
Okay.
Fire Emblem is coming out in July, so they might show something just to kind of rekindle the hype.
Right. Which I could get behind Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I don't think Pokemon will not be playable.
No, I don't see that.
Depending on the date on Animal Crossing, they might allow that to be playable because it is scheduled for 2019.
Okay.
I apprehensively put September. I really don't think that's really where it's going to go.
Where do you think it's going to drop?
I think September is the best idea. I really think that they're going to push it until November or December. And I think it's a terrible, terrible idea.
Yeah, I do too. I would much rather see it in the September, October timeframe. However, Pokemon's due to drop when?
November.
Right. So maybe they avoid November.
Yeah, and that's my mindset. But I don't know if you really want to. I hope it's not that they do what they did last year. So Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out in November. And then 2 weeks later, Smash Brothers came out.
Yeah, see, that's just bad.
I hope that's not what they do with this. It's a possibility that they might.
I could definitely, I could get behind a October and then November drop for two big names like that, or even a September. I would definitely say a September would be their best option to give breathing room before Pokemon comes in. But
all right. So since the lighting changed, I clicked a button and the color of my camera changed drastically. I just want to throw that out there for you guys.
Are you like green now or what?
No, it's just it was a very yellow hue.
Oh,
and because the fact that the sun's starting to go down, I kind of was noticing how yellow I looked, so I thought I'd address that for everybody. So anyway,
okay, continuing.
Link's Awakening, I think we see more on that, and I think we get a date as well, because that game is also supposed to be this year, and I think that's going to be August.
I could see that, yeah.
So, Daemon X Machina, I think they should probably show more on that, especially since after they did the demo, they took a lot of feedback from people to try and see what they can improve on. I think they just try and shoot that out there to show what they've improved on.
Right.
I think we're going to see the announcement of who is the next character in the Smash DLC. And
any
one of the
ideas?
big rumors. So the rumor I've been hearing is that they did not want to put a particular character in the game until that game was actually on the system. And a week or two ago from when we're recording this, they did release the first in the series of Devil May Cry, which means that there's rumors flying that they're going to have Dante from Devil May Cry be a playable character.
I could get behind that.
That's the one I would most likely like to see. Outside of that, I honestly don't know what else that they can go for. They could pull from any direction.
They really could, honestly. Their options are kind of limitless at this point. I mean, you got Cloud in there. Like,
yeah.
So it's kind of whatever at this point. Just pick somebody. Let's put them in.
All right.
And
Joker
from
else, so.
Persona 5. So, which I definitely considering playing Persona 5 on the Switch.
Okay, and then I would love to see them announce Persona 5 for the Switch. However, they just announced that Persona 5S, which is that Musou game. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I don't think we will. Because that's a multi-platform game. So I do think that we're going to see more of Astral Chain.
Okay.
That is the game that's being developed by Platinum Games.
Okay. That's the one, you can think of the name of.
Yeah. I actually just looked it up just now. So that game... Huh?
I don't think I've heard of that one.
You need to go look up the trailer. I think you'd really enjoy it. But that game's coming out in September, I believe. That game looks amazing, and I really want to see more on it.
Is it an RPG? Turn-based?
It's an action like platformer, I think. You gotta just... You're in some kind of police force of some sort, and it's very action. It's Platinum Games. They make Bayonetta and
right.
It's that similar kind of feel in a way.
Okay.
So
I'll go look it up then.
Yeah, and then so here's my list of questions. And I don't think either one of us have the ability to answer these, but I'm going to throw them out there because I want it out there. Okay. So, Metroid Prime 4.
Yes.
I would love to see.
Yes.
I hope that they do a cinematic trailer, but I doubt that we're going to see it just because of the fact that they had a studio working on it and then took it away from them and gave it to Retro Studios. So I don't think we're yet going to see that. Maybe towards the end of the year, maybe next year, we'll see something on Metroid Prime 4.
Okay. I think we see it. I think we definitely probably see a cinematic though. Okay. And I think they drop it. But
I would like to see something from Bayonetta 3. However, because of the fact that I was just talking about Astral Chain, I doubt we see anything from Bayonetta because I don't think Platinum wants to put both their games out there like that and let them suck on each other.
How far away? What kind of progression do you think we have on Astral versus Bayonetta?
Well, Bayonetta is an established title, and they showed it off at the Game Award. Well, they didn't even show it off. They just showed that, hey, we're working on it.
Right.
So they did the same thing they did with Metroid Prime. Basically, they just showed, hey, it's the title. It exists.
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think are they far enough in Astral where they are showing gameplay and dropping a release date, whereas they could then show a cinematic trailer of Bayonetta and
I don't think Nintendo and Platinum would do that.
Okay.
They're not notorious for things like that. Since they do their Nintendo Directs throughout the year, they could definitely save it for something else.
Right.
So I would like to see, if we don't see Metroid Prime 4, I would like to see them announce the Metroid Prime trilogy. I've always wanted to play those games, and
that would be
being able to play it on my Switch would be really nice.
That'd be fun to have.
And then I would like to see them address their online service and maybe add some features, add something,
A way to talk to each other that
Anything.
doesn't involve the cell phone.
Right. So, and then I'm sure that they're probably going to talk about some smaller games. One of the smaller games that I hope that gets brought up is a game called Crosscode.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one. And I had
So Crosscode is an indie developed game. It's got like a Super Nintendo style graphics. You're playing a single player game that takes place within an MMO.
Okay. Yeah, I think from what you were telling me and the little bit I watched on it and looked up on it, it looks pretty interesting. It's definitely something that I could get behind, especially for like an indie game.
Yeah, no, it looks like a really fun game. It's an action RPG, or not action RPG, but it's an RPG, and it supposedly has a really, really well done story and everything like that. So, it's on Steam, but I would love to have that game for travel purposes.
Right. Which is,
I'm not gonna lie, we made better time on this than I thought we would. I thought we were gonna run a little long.
We kind of cut through a couple of them.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, do you have anything else to add?
Final Fantasy VII. No, I'm kidding. No, I know you wanted to wait until the Nintendo to talk about the cross platform.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm glad you reminded me. So, if that, I didn't have it written down in my notes.
What I'm here for.
So, if anything about that cross progression or platform thing gets announced, I think it'll get announced on Nintendo. And if it's what I think it is, it's going to be a way to play Xbox games on your Nintendo system. And the reason I think it's going to be that is because Xboxes, or Microsoft, however you want to, they have been, we want our games wherever you are.
Right.
If you're playing a Microsoft branded title, we want you to be able to play it wherever that may be.
Right.
So they want to get into the hands of Switch owners and allow Nintendo Switch players to be able to play some of the games that they may not play if they didn't own an Xbox. They still want to capitalize off of that. That's why we've seen Cuphead come to the Switch.
So prediction, and just throwing this out there, Nintendo talks about cross-platform with Microsoft, and then shows Battletoads.
That would be cool.
That would be a great game to have on the Switch.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, I really just want to... Oh, now there's a cat in the picture. Man, my animals are everywhere tonight.
I got my animals all closed off. I got the door to the bedroom closed off, and the ferret's in his cage. So.
My bad. I left the basement door open, so everybody's coming down to say hi.
All right. I mean, with that being said, you got anything else?
No. I'm really excited for E3 this year, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And again, at the beginning, I gave you guys time and dates. Come join me on my channel for the live reactions. I'm going to try and have Daniel in for some of the ones that are later in the day. But I'm going to be trying to get and go live for every single one so we can do see how our predictions play out.
If I disappear from the camera during the Final Fantasy VII trailer, don't worry, I'm still alive.
I will call 911 most likely, just because of the fact that he probably had a heart attack because he got overexcited.
There's a good possibility. As long as you hear me like shouting things in the background, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
don't worry. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us on our podcast. I'm Colt Jester.
I'm Broken Thief Side In.
Thank you.
Yeah, take it easy.
Peace.